We can't hear you, Terry. Terry? Terry's all dressed up, has nowhere to go. There he is. Terry,
Hello, hello. Happy New Year to everyone.
what's with the jacket?
Happy New Year.
I've got a meeting right after this I got to go to immediately.
Okay. All right, good. Be that way.
Yeah. So you're supporting your LSU shirt, I get. I see.
Yeah, in fact, this shirt is so worn out, it's got a hole that's starting down here, and I got to get some new LSU shirts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. People that are late can just be late. So what I want to find out, first of all, has anybody other than Irene started calling for sell by owners? We'll go with Terry first.
No, ma'am. No, sir.
What the hell?
It's Christmas.
Oh my God. Okay, what about you, James? Have you started calling them?
Nope. I'll be honest. Nope. I've been hanging out with my daughter. She's on break, so.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. This is my week off.
So I'm going to give all of y'all the signal for today.
Losers. Yeah.
All right. So what I want to go over today, first of all, did everybody get the book or steal it? Personality Plus by Florence Littauer. Did everybody get that book or read it?
I absolutely love it, and I'm like reading it. Okay.
Oh, wonderful. Have you figured out what personality type you are?
Oh, yeah. I could have told you that before we even started. I'm the powerful choleric. Okay.
Oh, really?
To be my way or no way.
Okay. Well, that's good because you'll be, if you are a choleric, I believe you'll be very successful with for sale by owners. That's just my honest belief. Terry, what about you? Did you get the book?
No. Well, I got some of it. I read, listened to 2 reviews, but I already know about the disc. I've been studying that for 15 years.
Okay. So what are you?
Between a S and an I, then C, and actually D is the lowest.
So you know how to deal with those personality types?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
That's what I've learned over time. One of the things that no matter what you are, if you understand yourself and the other person, then you can have all your DIC rise or low or lower whenever you need to.
Right. James, what about you?
I haven't got the book, but I'm getting it today.
Awesome. Do you know anything about DISC or personalities and all that other stuff?
I do. I'm a high I on the disc.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I did. Are you familiar with the wealth dynamics? It's kind
I've heard of it.
So yeah, on that one, I'm what they call a connector, which is, I guess, I like to connect people and create opportunities.
Okay.
So.
All right, Brenda. Good morning. Glad you could make it. Brenda, did you get a chance to get the book Personality Plus? We'll skip Brenda. Denise, can you hear me?
Good morning. I can hear you.
Awesome. Denise, did you happen to read the book Personality Plus by Florence Littauer?
I have not read it, actually. I've taken.
We can't hear you.
Say that again.
Can you hear? I said I've taken a couple of personality tests, but I did not read that book yet.
Okay. So do you understand how to adapt to people's personalities and to identify what they are right off the bat?
I try to.
All right. So y'all are going to enjoy my homework for today, which I'll disclose in about an hour from now. Brenda, can you hear me? Brenda, I can see her. I don't know if she can hear me or not. Okay, we'll move on. All right, so what I want to do now is today I want to talk about a suggested schedule of calling for sub owners. If you remember in the last class, I told you that what I do and what's worked for me is to separate the two different calls. The first call is going to be to get the seller's email address any way you can. The easiest way that I found is by getting the seller's disclosure, because if you get the seller's disclosure, you can identify right off the bat how much knowledge they have in selling a house. If they have no clue what a seller's disclosure is, you can almost be assured that they're probably going to get a realtor pretty quick because they have no idea what to do. If they know what a seller's disclosure is and they can get their hands on one pretty fast and they will email it to you, you probably have somebody who has done this before or is very confident that they don't need you. So the next thing to do is to separate in your calling list the people that have sent you a seller's disclosure, or that you don't have their you have two lists here: people that you don't have their email address, people that you do have their email address. The calls to the people that you don't have their email address should always be trying to get their email address. Don't even go down the road of talking to them about listing their house. Get their email address, because you're going to need the email campaign in the background to do the work when you're not there. Then you have the list of people that you've got their email address. And so now here's how the conversations are going to go. So James, what I want you to do with me is I want you to do role playing so that I can tell you pretty much what I would say with each conversation. Okay? So don't go hard on me. Don't go hard on me, because I'm trying to show my conversations here. Okay?
Okay.
Don't give me a hard time, because I'll have to mute your ass so nobody can. Okay, so ring ring. Is this James?
Yeah, this is James.
Hey James, thank you for sending that seller's disclosure to me. I did have a couple of questions though. When I was looking at it, I didn't notice whether you had a pool. Do you have a pool in your yard?
I do have a pool. Yes, I do.
Perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to get with my buyers and I will call you back.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye now. Now, if James said yes, my response is perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. If he said no, my response would have been perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So when I hung up from James as the seller, he's now wondering what? James, what are you wondering now that I asked you that question?
I'm wondering who you got that may want to buy my house.
Exactly. Perfect. Who's now in control of this situation, me or you?
You are.
Okay, next call, 1 week later.
Okay.
1 week. James, this is Rob Russell again. You remember me?
Hey, yeah, you're the guy with the pool, right?
No, I don't have a pool. You have a pool.
Well, you asked about a pool.
Right. One more question that my buyers had, because we've been looking. Your living room, is it big enough to put a big screen TV in?
It is. I got a big screen in it right now.
How big?
It's a 65-inch.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, that's what I need to know. Let me get with my buyers and tell them what you said, and I will call you back.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye now. So, James, now that we had that conversation, what are you thinking now as the seller?
I'm thinking you may have actually a real buyer, a serious buyer. Yeah.
That's exactly what I want you to think. Now, have I told you that I have a buyer? Have I inferred that I have a buyer?
Well, you said you had a buyer, but not necessarily for my house, because you said you were looking and you were asking and you guys have been looking. So I would assume you have a buyer that you're working with.
At any time in both conversations, did you get the feeling that I'm trying to list your property?
Nope, not one.
Good. Okay, next call. Call number 3?
3. Yes.
Perfect. Hello, is this James?
This is James.
Hey, James, Rob Russell again. I hope you remember me now.
Hey, yeah, we talked a couple times.
In the last two times that we talked, I've got a brain fart and I forgot to ask you. If I bring a buyer to you, are you willing to pay my commission?
Well, I guess if you had somebody, we could definitely discuss it.
Well, I'm going to need to know now before I bring a buyer to you. Because if you're not willing to pay my commission, we're going to move on to the other 9 houses that are willing to pay a commission.
Well, what are you charging? I mean, what are you asking?
I was hoping to get like 20%.
20%? Wow. No,
Yeah.
that's going to be a no, I think.
Okay. What about 3%? Would you do 3?
Yeah, I think 3, 2.5 is kind of what I've been hearing from my friends. Is that not accurate?
2.5 is going to put you at the very bottom of the list because
Okay.
remember, I've got 9 other sellers that are willing to pay 3. I mean, you got to understand, I'm in business too to make money, not to give money away.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, I would consider 3%.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right, I'll get back with you then. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks.
James, how did you feel about that conversation?
I'm not sure. I know just from calling in the past, a lot of people are, if either they're real definitive, like, yes, I'm going to pay 2.5, I'm going to pay 2, I'm going to pay 3, or they're wishy-washy like I was, like, yeah, I'll think about it. And so I don't know from a consumer standpoint where they're going with that. So
Okay, so let's do that call over again. You're not going to pay any commission at all.
Okay.
Hello, is this James?
This is James.
Hey, James, Robert Russell. Do you remember me?
Hey, yeah, I do.
I forgot to ask you on the other 2 times that I talked to you about commissions. We need to talk about commissions. If I bring a buyer to you, are you willing to pay my commission?
No, I'm not paying any commission on the sale.
So if a realtor brings a buyer to you, you're not gonna pay the commission.
No, I'm not working with any agents, so no, I won't pay a commission.
Okay. All right. I understand. All right. Well, thanks a lot. I'll get back with you.
All righty, thanks.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Now, what would most of you do on that conversation? Let's just open up from there what most people would do if James said that he's not going to pay the commission.
Never call him back.
Okay, that's a good answer. Terry, what would you do? Terry, we can't hear you. Unmute.
I would think most people would trash it also.
Okay. Terry, Irene, what would you do?
Probably tell them that I don't work for free.
Okay. That's an interesting response. Brenda, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful. Brenda, how would you respond if you had a seller like hard-ass James who's not willing to pay a commission?
Well, I don't give up. So I would call him back in about a week and just talk and then see if I could get him around to my corner of thinking.
Awesome. Good answer. Joseph Lamb, good morning. So glad you could join us. Joseph, can you hear me now?
Sorry, I need to unmute them. Yes, sort of a few minutes late. Well, I will not cancel him, but I would say, okay, yeah, thank you, so and see what happened and check back with him sometime later.
Okay, perfect. Denise?
Well, I probably would not give up either. I would probably just call him back in about a few days and just see if he's had a change of heart, how much activity he's had, and just ask him some additional questions.
Okay. Polly, can you hear me? Polly McIntyre, can you hear me now? Okay. Polly's sleeping.
I can hear you.
Polly! Woohoo!
Hello.
Polly, how would you handle that situation if a seller told you they were not going to pay commissions?
Well, Robert, I'm sorry. I just got my audio to work, so I'm just now hearing what you're saying.
Okay, we'll come
I
back
missed
to
the
you.
question. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
that's all right. James, how would you handle a situation if a seller told you they would not pay a commission?
I mean, I'll call him back and check in, but see how things are going, but I don't. It doesn't typically in the past. I just kind of throw it to the wayside.
Okay.
Kind of good luck.
Okay, perfect. Here's what I do in this situation. Now, remember that I've got an email campaign that's going out every 4 days, right? Every Friday, I send a list of houses that have just sold, and I'm very careful on wording. Reese, this is an email that goes out every Friday. It says recent sold properties. And these are recent sold properties of houses that sold in their city. I don't care what city they're in. They can be in Dallas. They can be in Austin. If I'm calling somebody in Austin, it's going to be recent solds in Austin. And I'm going to send that email out. That's why the email is very important. On the next conversation, it's going to go like this. Now, before I start that, here's where a lot of realtors fail calling for sale by owners. They stop right here. Big mistake. Big ass, huge mistake. Just because he said he is not going to pay commission doesn't mean that he's not going to change his mind. Remember now, we are now on, James, what number are we on calls?
That was number 3.
So we're now into at least 3 to 4 weeks, because the first week I got the email address. Then I started calling. So we're now on 3 or 4, not really sure where we're at on the calls. That's almost 1 month. This house has been on the market and he doesn't have an offer. In the meantime, he's getting bombarded by realtors who are calling, making one call, they get pissed off, and they never call him back. Here I am. I'm calling every week. I'm not being pushy. I'm not even talking about listing his house yet. We're only talking about bringing a buyer. Does that make sense to y'all?
Yep.
Very low key. This is not a high pressure deal. If you high pressure a type A, you're going to lose big time. That's why the personality test is so important. You've got to understand the personalities. So now we go into week, James, where are we at? 4?
This will be the 4th call.
4th call.
Quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the recent sold properties email that you sent to them, would that be homes that are similar in nature to their home that they are? Or just
It could be. That's up to you. It's however you want to do it.
Okay.
I'm going to probably try to nail about 5 or 6 in all price ranges.
Okay.
So here is what the next call is going to be. Ring, ring, James.
Yeah, this is James.
Hey, James, Robert Russell here.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, did you get my email that I sent you about recent solds?
Yeah, I did.
Do you remember when I asked you if you were going to pay a commission?
I did. Yeah, I'm not paying a commission.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Because one of those was one of my buyers.
Oh, wow.
And the seller was very, he actually one of them was a for sale by owner that I sold. And the seller was a for sale by owner just like you, and they paid 3%.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. How many buyers do you think you're missing out on because you're not willing to pay 3%?
I'm probably a handful, I would imagine.
So can I ask you another question?
Sure.
What's more important to you? What you pay in commission or what you walk away with at closing?
Well, what I walk away with, I guess, is the most important.
What you walk away with?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I would think so. That's what I get in my pocket, right? That makes more. That's what I'm looking for.
So if a buyer's agent was looking for 4%, would you pay 4%?
Well, probably not. That's going to take more money out of my pocket.
Well, hold on. I asked you before, I said, which is more important? what you pay in commission or what you walk away with at closing. Your answer was what I'll walk away with at closing. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So if the buyer's agent wanted 4, based on what you just told me, would you pay 4%?
Yeah, I guess I might consider it.
What if he wanted 6%?
Well, I'd say he's probably greedy.
Okay, let's back up. Let's go back to the original question. Which is more important, what you pay in commission or what you walk away with at closing?
Yeah, what I walk away with, for sure.
Okay, so whether it's 4%, 6%, or even 20%, you laughed at me when I said 20%
Yeah,
the first time we talked. Remember that?
I do.
I was trying to be funny, which it got you to laugh.
Yeah.
But again, even if it was 20%, again, the question is, what's more important? What you pay in commission or what you walk away with at closing?
No, what I walk away with is most important. I need to get a certain number though.
Okay, I understand that. And I'm fine with that. And if I was doing it on my own, that's exactly what I would think too. In fact, I'm a realtor myself. I don't even want to pay commissions. So I can understand where you're coming from.
Right.
So now the question is, if I bring the buyer to you, are you willing to pay commissions?
Yeah, I'd be willing to pay something as long as I can get my number.
Okay. So if my commission was 3%, 4%, or even 20%, you'd be okay with that?
Well, within reason, I think.
Okay, let's go back to the question. Which is more important, what you walk away with at closing or what you pay in commission?
What I get at closing.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks a lot. I'll talk to you later.
All righty.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Now, James, how did you feel about that conversation with a realtor, with you being a for sale by owner?
I think a little foolish, actually. Like,
why? Why do you feel foolish?
I don't know. Like I didn't understand it, but I get it.
I repeated it 4 times.
Yeah.
Did you notice
exactly.
that? Same
Yeah.
question 4 times.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about asking a for sale by owner?
Kind of questioning my motives or what I'm doing, like what my philosophy on the sale, I guess. Kind of questioning why my thoughts are that way, that I don't want to pay commission, but then still guarded that I'm not going to pay 20% because that's going to take money out of my pocket. Would be the assumption, that I think or that I'm making. If I'm paying 20%, that's a lot of percentages that could go in my pocket.
But for those of you that did not write down that question, I would highly advise you to write down that question. That is one of my main questions that I ask. Remember, ask, not tell. You're in control when you ask questions. If you talk, you've lost. Here's what I want y'all to do.
Can you repeat the question again?
Which is more important, what you pay in commissions or what you walk away with at closing? That's number 5 for you, James. You still didn't get it after 5 times. Oh my God. So being a realtor, James, how did you feel about hearing that question come to you if you were a for sale by owner? Do you feel like you'd be in control?
Yeah, I would definitely have a lot more control than the first conversation when they're not paying a commission at all. I mean, now you got them to kind of look at it from a different perspective, I think. Go, wow, maybe I need to reconsider my thoughts of just not paying a commission at all.
Brett, Denise, how did you feel about that whole conversation?
I thought that was a great question, and you directed the conversation actually back to where you were in control. And you had the seller thinking that, well, wait a minute, questioning himself. And I thought that was really good. So I definitely wrote down that question.
Denise, in that conversation, how many statements did I make as opposed to questions?
None.
And I want you to go back and watch this video when I send it to you. Notice how many statements I made. If you make a statement, just go ahead and hang up on them. Seriously, you've lost. One statement equals lose. You are in control when you ask a question. Even if they ask you a question, answer it with a question. So we're going to stop right here and we're going to play a little game. Who wants to play a game? Anybody?
Sure.
You want to play?
Sure.
Who else wants to play?
Sure.
Who? Irene?
Yes.
Okay, Irene, you're going to play a game against James. Here's the rules of the game. James, I'm going to give you a question to ask Irene. Irene, you're going to answer the question with another question.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay.
The first person that makes a statement to the question is the loser.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Here's the question, the initial question. So y'all can go as long as you want. We got time. The question is, Irene, why did you color your hair? Go ahead, James.
Irene, why did you color your hair?
James, why do you ask that? Oh, not why. Okay, why it's not a how is it that important to you?
Oh. Why do you ask why it's important?
Oh my God, y'all suck.
I know.
Okay, so here's the purpose of this little deal here. I spoke at a Rotary Club one time, and there was all occupations there: attorneys, doctors, salespeople, insurance people. Everybody was there, and I made people partner up. So I said, okay, I want everybody to stand up and y'all partner. Whoever's going to be A, raise your hand. Whoever's B, raise your hand. So the A's talking against the B's. And I asked them a question. I said, whoever makes a statement, then you have to sit down. So as soon as you're just left by yourself, look for somebody else who's by themselves and go over there and finish the deal. Guess who sat down first? The attorneys. I thought the attorneys would be good at this game, but they suck. You know why they suck? Because they're so busy thinking about what they're going to ask next that they lost focus and had to sit down. So working with for sale by owners is exactly the same thing. You have to answer a question with a question. You have to be in control of the conversation. Y'all got that? So
Yep.
where did we leave off? James, you've decided that you will pay 3%, 4%, even 20% as long as you get to walk away with what you need at closing, right?
Right.
Okay, awesome. Next phone call. What number are we on now?
This will be number 5, fifth
Awesome.
phone call.
This is a long time to be following up with you. James, you can go anywhere you want with this one.
All righty.
Hello, James.
Yeah, this is James.
Hey, James, Robert Russell again.
Hey, Robert.
You know,
What can I do for you?
I was going to call you this week to tell you, so I figured I'd just wait and see what happened. But my buyers ended up making an offer on a different house.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to know why?
Well, I don't know. They haven't seen my house, right? They haven't been over here.
Because they don't trust you.
They don't trust me.
Yeah,
I haven't even met them.
I know. But they don't trust you because, number one, your house is for sale by owner, which means they feel like you're probably trying to hide something. And because you're not willing to pay commissions, because we never had the conversation about commissions, they feel like that you're set on your price and you're not negotiable. So they
Well,
don't,
I do need a certain amount to, you know, to make the move.
I understand, but that was their perception.
Interesting. Okay.
So here's my question to you. How much money will you make if your house doesn't sell?
I won't make any money. I'll be zero.
And how many offers have you had so far?
I've only had one offer.
And how much was it?
How much was the offer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care to disclose that. I mean, I feel like I'm at a disadvantage if I tell you what I got, but.
Well, no, you didn't get it because you didn't accept the offer.
Right,
so
right. No, I don't care to discuss that though with you.
Okay. Let me ask you another question. What's your payoff?
A payoff on my house?
Yeah.
$150,000.
Now, I'm going to stop right here. How many of you have ever asked a seller what his payoff is? Probably none of you.
No.
You have? Brenda has.
I have.
Do you know what will happen if you ask that question? There's only two answers. They'll either tell you it's none of your business, or they'll give you a number. So here's what I tell a person who has just told me what his payoff is. James, I'm really surprised at you. I asked you your payoff and you told me without hesitation. Are you doing that with your buyers too?
No.
Then why did you tell me?
Well, because you asked.
So if a buyer is in front of you and you're showing the house to a buyer and they ask you that question, what are you going to tell them?
I don't know. No one's asked me but you. That's a good point.
Okay, next question. How did you determine the price of your house?
Well, I know what I've paid for it. I know what I've put into it, and I looked on Zillow. So
Zillow, my favorite website.
Yeah, mine too.
Did you have you had your house appraised?
No.
So how did you determine the sales price?
Well, I just know, like I said, I know what I put into it. I mean, I got the best house on the block. I mean, my neighbors down the street, they sold for, $325, and my house is easily, $50,000 better than theirs. So.
Do you know how appraisers work?
Yeah, they kind of run comparables in the neighborhood and do that. But I got the best house ever.
All right, so let me make sure that I understand this right. You know how appraisers work, but you haven't had your house appraised, and you're basing your house on only one that sold. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
But what about the other two that are needed for a true appraisal?
Well, I mean, now that'll be up to the appraiser when they come out to appraise it.
James, do you think your house is overpriced or underpriced?
No, I think my house, I mean, like I said, I got the best house on the block in the neighborhood. I think my house is easily worth what I'm asking for it. Maybe probably more.
So do you think it's overpriced or underpriced?
I think it's priced right.
So you think it's priced exactly where it should be?
Yeah, I do.
And we've been talking now for how long?
Oh, I don't know, a month or so, I guess.
And how many offers have you had?
I've had one offer.
How many showings have you had?
Oh gosh, I don't know, 5 or 6.
Do you know why foreclosures sell?
No, not really. Why is that?
You have no idea why foreclosures sell?
Well, they're a good deal, I guess, right?
Have you ever seen the inside of most foreclosures?
Yeah, they look pretty beat up.
They're trashed.
Yeah.
But yet they sell. What do you think the reason that they sell is?
Well, because they're a good deal.
Because they get the right price.
Yeah, they're a good deal.
But your house has been on the market for 5 weeks. You've had one offer, and you haven't sold it.
Right. Well, I'm not in any hurry.
Obviously. So you're practicing.
Well, I just like I said, I need the amount I need, and I'm not in any rush to get it.
What are you going to do when an offer comes through and your house doesn't appraise?
I don't know.
If you did know, what would it be?
What's that?
If you did know, what would it be?
Well, I guess I'll stay here. I guess I'll stay here.
James, are you serious about selling your house?
Yeah, I mean, I am serious. I need to make a move.
Okay, so here's what I'm trying to understand. You haven't had it appraised. If it doesn't sell, you're okay with that. You're not really willing to pay commissions. What do you see wrong with this picture?
Yeah, it seems like man, I guess I'm not that motivated, right? That's what you're thinking.
I'm asking you. I don't know what you're thinking because I can't read your mind.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
James, if I could get you what you wanted at closing, would you be willing to pay my commission to help you sell your house?
No, I may consider it.
Okay, so if my commission was 6%, 7%, you'd be willing to let me help you sell your house?
Well, maybe, but I mean, like, it's already been on the market. I mean, what are you going to do differently than I've already done? It's already been on the market. And I'm where I'm at.
Where are you marketing at?
Well, I have it on Zillow, of course.
Okay.
That's the biggest and the best, right?
So you've got it on one website.
Right.
James, I want to tell you a story. You got a minute?
Sure.
I'm going to tell you a story about this female that I know who does everything on the internet. She goes to church online. She shops online. All her friends are on Facebook. She doesn't get out at all. But yet she wants to get married. How do you think that process is going to work for her?
It's going to be interesting for sure.
So basically what she's doing is she's keeping her status as a secret.
Right.
She's a secret single lady. Right?
Yep.
Guess who this secret single lady is?
I guess it's my house, right?
It's your house. Yes, exactly. You're keeping your house a secret. You want to sell your house. You're somewhat willing to pay commissions, but yet nobody knows about it. How in the world are you going to sell it if nobody knows about it?
Yeah. Well,
so it goes back to the original question that I asked you, I think 2 weeks ago, which is more important, what you walk away with at closing or what you pay in commissions?
Yeah, what I walk away with at closing is definitely most important.
So if my commission was 6% or even 8%, that wouldn't matter to you.
Well, I want a good deal. I mean,
of course. Exactly.
Yeah.
But my question is, if I can show you where you can walk away with what you need to walk away with, would you be willing to let me list your house?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, perfect. I've already got all the information I need. I'm going to run a CMA. I'm going to send it to you by email. I want you to take a look at it. And then if you have any questions, you call me.
All righty.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Now, let's have a little feedback on that conversation with Jade, because that is actually the closest to a true conversation that I have with sellers out of all the conversations that we've had so far. Irene, how did you feel about that? Irene.
I felt that the seller was ready pretty much to make the move and to list his home with you. It would take too long for you to turn him around.
Okay. So did you like the approach from the first call to where we're at now?
Absolutely.
Do you think he feels threatened?
No.
Terry Touchstone, how did you feel about first of all, the last conversation with how I proceeded into getting him to at least be open to listing his house.
Well, that was interesting. What I was wondering about is, I don't know, percentage-wise, how many people are you able to talk that long and ask that many questions normally, or
The
anybody
answer,
else?
the answer to that question doesn't matter. It really doesn't. The question that I have for you is, how long are you willing to go with a for sale by owner before you give up on it?
Well,
So if I have to go 9 months, I'll go 9 months. My last closing was 9 months with the seller. 9 months. I kept calling him every week, every single week, every single week. And I was persistent. And you know why he listed with me? He said, I'm listed with you because you've been the most persistent person that I've ever dealt with in my life. I said, well, imagine how I'm going to be when we actually put this thing on the market and we have buyers come through.
yeah.
Were you able to sell it for close to what they were listed for, or what
Full
they
price, full price offer, beautiful process. James, how did you feel about being the seller, about being the for sale by owner with my last approach?
I thought it was great, actually. I mean, you led me, you raised some awareness to what I was doing by your questions.
Did you like the question?
Especially the motivation one. I thought that was that was the killer question to me. It's like, now you know if they're even motivated enough to to want to meet with them and what they actually want to do. I think that was the one that gave a lot of clarity to the previous conversation, is their motivation, how motivated they are.
Did you feel threatened or pissed off with any part of that last conversation? Because I was a little bit stronger with you on that one than I have been in the past.
No, I wasn't really offended by any of it. I liked the girl in the internet. That was a great analogy. But no, I didn't really feel threatened.
Okay, Brenda, comments?
I think that the conversation that you had this past time, the last conversation, was successful because of what you had told him previously, that he had missed out on. He already missed out, I think, on 2 sellers.
Right.
He missed out on one that had already been a for sale by, had already gone, and then he missed out on another one because you told him he wasn't negotiable. And I think he saw flaws in what he was doing. And that's why your last conversation was successful, because it was predicated on the conversation before that.
Mm-hmm.
And it put him in the mindset to say, hey, I'm losing here and I'm not getting anywhere. So he was kind of caught there.
Brenda, based on, and you've been doing this a while, I know for a fact, how did you feel about the transition from the first call to this last call, from where we started, not going after his listing at the very beginning?
I thought you built a lot of rapport with him because you were calling each week. You asked him if he remembered you. So you brought that, I'm the same guy that called you last week. So it was very low key, not threatening, just kind of like, how you doing? Have you had any offers? Just checking back with him. And I thought that was the building the rapport. I thought that was successful.
What would you have done different on any of those phone calls?
I don't know what I would have done differently. I think it took that because obviously you called him early in the process. I think the longer, what you have to remember is what people will do after 6 weeks, 2 months, 6 months is not what they would do at the beginning. It takes a while because there's a disillusionment with for sale by owners.
Right.
There's a disillusionment there, thinking that they can do it on their own. And then it's like, this is harder and I'm not getting anywhere. And I'm seeing a property down the street that's sold with a realtor and mine didn't sell. So I think it's in their head. It takes a while before they can get there.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you had buyers that he had missed out on, I think that was pivotal in him making the decision the last time that we talked with him.
Okay, I'm gonna skip to Denise. Denise, what are your comments? Because you've been doing this
Well,
longer than me. How long you been?
okay,
How long you been licensed, Denise?
over 23 years.
Oh my God, I'm a newbie compared to you.
Uh, I thought it was really good. I like the way that you kept asking questions. That's what I try to do as well, is, just more, ask more questions than just, giving them statements, because you don't know their true motivation. And when you really got to that motivation and cause the seller to think about, oh, okay, why am I really motivated? Um, and one other thing that I do too is, I start asking them, well, where are you moving? How soon do you want to move?
Mhm.
Um, are you working with the realtor, to try to find something, or are you actually going to for sale by owners as well? And so, I mean, I do the same thing. I ask a lot of questions, so that way, you're really making them think. Okay, um, do I really want to, represent myself, or, obviously this realtor has buyers and this is their profession. And, but I do like the way that you actually brought him, around to thinking. And I think also that the time frame, that he had been on the market for a while, and maybe he was tired of, taking phone calls and making appointments and maybe being stood up, or, no shows, or, how's he pre-qualifying his buyers, and just different questions that, I did like that. I think you got to that point very, very good.
Do you think I raised any doubt in his mind when I asked him about appraisal?
Yes. Yes, I do. I think that, a lot of times, like Brenda said, for sale by owners, and some sellers, they say, oh, I've sold a house before, and it's like, it's not that hard. Well, real estate changes all the time. And I think that, truly, what a house actually sells for a lot of times, is not what it really sold for. I mean, I've had that instance happen several times where I would go and, to a for sale by owner, and the for sale by owner would say, oh yes, my neighbor down the street sold his house for, 180,000, whenever the tax records, showed that it only sold for 163.
Hmm.
So they know what it listed for, but they, in actuality, they, that's, I mean, even though it's public record, it's not normally, the numbers are not normally put out there, I sold for this, quote unquote.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to move to actually getting the listing with James. What number are we on now, James?
This will be the 6th call.
Woo, there's a lot of calls, isn't it? Hello, James.
Yeah, this is James.
Hey, James, Robert Russell. I sent you that CMA. Did you get a chance to look at it?
I did review it.
How do you feel about it?
That's all right. You told me to call you though when I was ready, and I just kind of reviewed it. I'm not quite ready yet.
You're not ready to put your house on the market?
Well, I have it for sale right now.
Well, no. Yeah, you have it for sale, but it's not on the market.
Yeah, not on the market.
It's still a secret.
Right.
How's that working for you?
Well, about the same as last time.
Okay. So going back to the original question about the commission part, if I can get you more by using me as your realtor than you're able to do by yourself, do you want to put your house on the market?
Yeah, I think so. I think I do.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to email you the listing agreement. It's going to
Okay.
be by DocuSign. All you got to do is click and hit submit, and it'll come to me like within a minute. I'm going to send you a seller's disclosure. You'll probably want to print that out, scan it, send it back to me. Now, what the seller's disclosure is about, it's going to be like a 6-page form. It's going to ask you everything about your house. Anything that you fail to disclose, whether you do it on purpose or not, you can be sued up to 2 years after closing. So if there's a question that comes up and you're not sure what the answer was, don't guess, just put unsure at this time. Okay?
Okay.
The last piece of paper is called information about brokerage services. It's going to state in writing that I will now represent you. Anything that any buyers tell me, anything that a realtor tells me that they try to keep confidential between me and them, I now legally represent you, which means you get to know everything that I know. That's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is.
All right, so I'm going to email these to you. Just click. You don't have to print anything except for the seller's disclosure. Scan that, send that back to me, and then we'll worry about pictures after we get the listing paperwork in. Any questions so far?
So the price, I mean, where are we listing it at, and what's their commission?
Well, you saw that what the price is, right? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. The comps say that you should probably sell it at 350. I want to go a little bit higher to allow for negotiation room. So I want to go like 354. Now, if we don't have an offer in 2 weeks, then what I want to do is I want to lower the price by $2,000 in 2 weeks. And let me tell you the purpose of that. Whenever a buyer is looking at the house, a buyer always asks the realtor 2 questions. Number one, how long has it been on the market and what are they asking? If they ask how long it's been on the market, the realtor can clearly see down at the bottom where it says DOM, which means days on market. When they ask how much are they asking, the realtor will see that you've lowered the price by $2,000. So what message does it give the buyers that you've lowered the price after 2 weeks? That's a trick question. You know what the answer is?
I don't.
It means that you're motivated,
Yeah.
that you're willing to work with them. So are you okay with starting it at 354 or you want to go higher than that?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's good.
So we'll do it at 354. Commission. We're going to talk about commission. Now you have 2 options on commissions. We can do 6% where we just list it in one MLS and I market it by myself. Or we can do 7%, which means that I market it on my MLS, then I send it out to realtors all over the world and get them to put it on their MLS. If the buyer comes outside of the state of Texas, or the buyer's agent comes outside of the state of Texas, then you only pay that additional 1% to the other realtor. So instead of it being a 2-way split, listing agent, buyer's agent, it's a 3-way split. So do you want to do 6% with one MLS, or do you want to do 7% with 50 or 100 MLSs?
I think 6% is fine for now.
Okay, awesome. All right, I'll email that to you now. If you have any questions, give me a call and we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, bye-bye now. Now, for those of you that are driving to listing appointments, I'm so sorry for you. I don't go to listing appointments anymore, ever. You can do everything through DocuSign. They have this beautiful thing called the internet now. You can go to the internet, you can look at pictures, you can go to his beautiful Zillow listing that he has. He probably, over the last 5 weeks, I'm sure he's got a lot of pictures on there. But if the pictures are bad, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the buyer's agent who's going to go put up their sign in front of the yard to go take pictures. Now, what's the purpose of that? Because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call Terry Touchtone, who's in Dallas. I'm going to say, Terry, got a great deal for you. I just got a listing in Dallas, and I'm in Florida, and I need your help. So here's what I want you to do for me. I'm going to let you have all the free buyers on one of my listings. Any buyer that comes through on my listing, those buyers are yours. You don't pay me any referral fee. But what I need you to do is put up a sign with your name on it, put up a lockbox, and possibly take some pictures. Will you be willing to do that?
Sounds okay. What kind of fees are you paying?
Well, the commission that I get, you're not going to get any listing commission. You're just going to get all the buyers that come through.
Oh, I see.
And you
Okay.
don't pay me any referral fee on any buyers. So if you put up a sign and you get 10 calls, that comes out to be 5 sales, those are your people and you don't pay me anything. Are you up for that?
Is it well priced or over?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can do the CMA yourself if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I'll work with you.
Okay, awesome. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put Terry down as the co-listing agent, because if he's in a different MLS area, I'm gonna ask Terry to put it in his MLS so that it can now be in 2 different MLSs. So because me and Terry are in the same MLS, it's not gonna work for this situation. But let's just say that the listing was in Austin, and I got a listing in Austin. I call Terry. Terry's in Austin. I say, Terry, will you also put it in your MLS? And that way you can get any internet leads that come through realtor.com. So now I call James up and I say, well, good news. Your house is going to be, even though you didn't want to pay the 7, it's going to be on 2 MLSs in Dallas and Austin MLS. Any questions on that process there? Anybody?
No?
Did I just blow y'all's minds on that one?
Hey, Robert.
Yes, sir.
I think the 7% a little confusing when you post that. Could you mention that again? And I have other question, the transition also, but that's later.
I was hoping that you would say that, Joseph, because that's what we're going to talk about on week 4 of For Sale by Owner training. We're going to talk about how to get 7 to 8% commission when you're talking to For Sale by Owners. So I'm gonna postpone answering that question till next week.
Okay, fine. Then I will go back to my original question that I had.
Okay.
I think your last call, as well as your listing presentation call, that in itself was fine. But I think the transition from getting a commission for the buyer to the listing, that's to me with a particular seller, that jump a little fast on that, because so far we've been talking about he's not willing to give any commission, and then so far we're only talking about you bring a buyer, you get a commission. My experience so far is usually if I have a real buyer, getting a buyer commission normally is not a problem. But personally, I don't really care the buyer side, because if I have a true buyer, I'm probably not going to spend 4-6 weeks to have a buyer to buy the particular property. Mm-hmm. I am more interested, as most of us probably want to get the listing. But if you have a tough seller, don't even want to pay buyer's commission, that transition to get to a listing or 6% or more, that went a little fast for me, for this particular tough seller. Any thought or?
Well, let's see what everybody else has to say about that. What's y'all's opinion on what Joseph has just said about the transition on my last call?
I think your goal actually was to get the listing, not necessarily to get him to pay a commission.
Right.
I know that's the goal, but that's what I thought. It jumped a little fast if the guy had been refusing even pay the buyer commission. Now you're asking to pay a listing commission.
Polly, what's your opinion on that? Polly? Yo, Polly. James, what's your opinion on that? You were in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of addressed that in the conversations that we had up to that, because you had asked, if you're willing to pay, 6 or 8%, if you still walked away with, the most money at the close, that's the most important. So you kind of addressed that without specifying what's listing commission, buyer's commission. You kind of addressed that, hey, it might be 6 or 8%, but the most important to that seller was that they walked away with the most money.
And see, here's the other thing too, Joseph, I need you to understand. I really believe that because of the amount of calls that I've made to James, I think I established some trust with James. That I wasn't just a realtor calling to try to get the listing on the first call. James, do you feel that way? Do you feel like you trusted me with all those phone calls?
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of rapport that's built in because of the consistency and the nature of the calls.
When I told you that I wasn't going to bring a buyer to you because the buyers didn't trust you, how did you feel when I told you that?
Yeah, that was probably the thing that was not quite sure if I could have the posture to say that to somebody.
Why not?
What's that?
Why not?
I don't know. You're kind of telling somebody they're a liar.
No, I didn't say you were a liar. I said they don't trust you.
Right. Which, I don't know. That's kind of how I calculate it. Like, I'm not trying to lie to them, so why don't they trust me?
But it did give you second thought about maybe the motives behind what buyers are thinking.
Right. Sure.
So, Joseph, I understand what you're saying. You can spread this thing out as long as you want. It's up to you. I'm not telling you this is the way it should be done. The whole for sale by owner training here that we're doing is to kind of give you a guideline on schedule, how to schedule calls, how to do the behind the scenes with emails, how to send out emails every Friday that shows what you've sold. It's to establish credibility with these for sale by owners to let them know that you're not like everybody else. Just the idea of going in and offering to list his house on multiple MLSs, I can tell you that there's probably, just in this little training, there's only one person other than myself who's doing this, and that's Denise. And I'm not even sure if Denise is even presenting this on all of her listings. So if that's the case, that means if you're offered to put this on MLS in different areas, nobody in your competition is doing that. Nobody. That sets you apart. Because I can guarantee you, here's what they're doing. You've got a listing agent who specializes in one neighborhood, and that's it. They're looking for buyers just in their neighborhood. They're not even bringing up the idea of putting the house on multiple MLSs in different states or different countries. That's what's going to set you apart. You've got to think outside of this little box that you're in, and remember that we are in a global real estate market. If he wants his house to stay a secret, then keep it as a for sale by owner. But if he wants the exposure, he's got to put it out on MLS or multiple MLSs.
So in your example, you could also have several co-listing agents like Houston, Galveston, wherever, El Paso.
It's not really called a co-listing agent. You can only have one co-listing, but you can get what's called a promoting agent to promote it in their MLSs. We're going to go over that next week on how that works. So don't miss that. Yes, ma'am. Brenda.
Yes. Let's say you have Terry Touchtone as the buyer, the co-listing agent who is handling the buying side.
Right.
And they put it on their MLS, and so they have it out there, and they get calls and they show it. But then you have Denise, who has seen that on the MLS, and she calls Terry to see the property because she has a buyer.
That answer is going to be given next week.
Okay. Okay.
Because I know where you're going. We're not
Okay.
going there. We don't have time. We're 4 minutes late.
Okay.
You do not want to miss next week. Even if you want to watch the recording, you're going to want to ask questions. Don't miss next week. and for those of you that are watching this and you're not live, you really need to be live next week. If this is the only one that you can be live to, come to this one, because what I'm going to go over next week will change your entire real estate business. I've got 14 listings in Costa Rica. I've never been to Costa Rica. Don't plan to go to Costa Rica unless it's on vacation. And I'm going to show you how we do it. I got a listing in the Dominican Republic a couple of years ago. It was on the market for 3 years. It was for 63 million. 63 million. So what I'm going to show you next week is huge. And by the way, when I talked to for sale by owners, this is what I told them. I said, look, how many realtors do you think are in the Dominican Republic? And they would answer, I don't know, thousands. So if it's possible that the seller got me to list their property and I'm in Texas, do you think it's because I suck as a realtor? And that was my exact wording to for sale by owners, and made them think, ooh, this guy's the dude. So be at the next training next week live. Don't wait and watch the video, because you're going to be pissed off because you weren't there to ask questions. Okay, well, that is it for today. I will record I've got this thing recorded, and I will send this out to y'all later on today as soon as I get it formatted. So y'all have a great day. If you have any questions, call me. 972-679-9029. Terry, go to your meeting. Go. Get out of here. Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks.
Figure out how to get out of here.
Thanks, Robert.